Hey guys, Freddie here with Distinct Mastering. Today I'm going to show you how to prep your music for stem mastering. I've got a session open here. I'm going to go ahead and play you a little of this so you can hear what it sounds like. As you can see, that sounds pretty good, but we want to take this to the next level. So the first step that we are going to do is you want to make sure you give us a copy of your pre-master. So make sure that you leave everything on your master bus. We're going to use this as a reference. There's two ways you can do this. You can select all of your tracks and then use the bounce to disk option. If you do that, make sure that you select interleaved so that you bounce one stereo file, and then name your track, pick the destination, go ahead and leave the bit depth the same as it was when the session was created. You could send us an MP3, but it's just going to be for reference. So this is your pre-master final mix basically with everything left on your master bus. The other way to do this would be to select all of these tracks and route them internally to one of your internal buses. And then you can bring them in on another audio track. So then you'd bring that bus in on your input, make it match, hit the record enable, and record your audio. I've already done that right here, so what you can then do is name this. For example, I am the one final mix or pre-master, and then you can export this right here in your clip view. Just right click on the file once you've selected it, and you see it selected here, and then you can export the file this way. Make sure it's on interleaved, and once again leave everything as is. If the session was in 24-bit, leave that. Leave it as a WAV or AIFF. You could use an MP3, but you're going to lose a little quality, so I recommend leaving it at full quality. Remember, we're going to use that as a reference, but having a high quality file is best. So once you've got the pre-master out, put that in a folder somewhere on your computer, and now you're going to set up your stems. So the second step is to choose and create your stems. Typically, you're looking to get about 3 to 5 stems over to us. And as you can see here, some of the tracks have already been submixed. For example, all of the instruments have been submixed here into one stem. The vocals have been submixed into one stem, as well as the effects. I went ahead and color-coded some tracks to show you what could be potentially stems. So for example, all of these red tracks are drums. This could be one drum stem. So you could do the same method. You could mute these and bounce to disk, or you could print these to another audio track by using an internal bus and creating a drum stem. This brown is all of our bass, and we could submix all of that into a bass stem. And as you see, these have already been submixed into 3 stems. So what that leaves us with is 5 total stems. That's perfect to send to us. Now you want to leave your mix intact. If you have panning and volume changes, leave all of that in place and bounce them as is. But when you're bouncing your stems, you're going to want to make sure to turn everything off on your master bus. Now if you're printing your stems to files and you're using the export clips, that's another way to do it. Or you can use the bounce to disk, however you prefer. But whatever you do, make sure you don't have processing on the final stems themselves, only the mix processing on your individual tracks. So if you've printed all your stems into your session, you're going to need to name them all. And as you can see, they've all been named, so that's perfect. Make sure you have detailed names. Now there's one more thing I want to touch on. Sometimes in dance music, it is common to receive more than just 5 stems. You might want to give the mastering engineer more, but you'll want to chat with them beforehand. This goes a bit into stem mix mastering, but gives the engineer more control of your music. Some common stems would be all of the kicks, separate all the claps, any fills or toms, snare rolls, all of the individual basses or vocals. You can actually put all of those into individual stems, and once again, it gives the engineer more options and more control. Once you've got all your stems dialed in, you've picked and chosen them how you want, you can select them all and you're going to export them as files. Once again, put them in that same folder and then zip that folder up. Make sure it's all named and use the WeTransfer upload link on our website to send that over to us. Once again, the goal is to try to get 3 to 5 stems. You could do more if you're making forms of dance or house music, and then get that over to us and we can start your stem master. Questions, you can find us at distinctmastering.com and make sure to subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much, and have a great day.